Hello. What is up, you guys? Stream should be live. I think it may have been live earlier because I accidentally kept my streaming software going from when I was streaming with the mentorship group. West Coast, baby. Dude, shout out to all you guys with who are from the West Coast, or if you're trading and it's like 6 in the morning. I don't know how you guys do it. Echo. You guys have an echo? Can you hear an echo? Is there an echo on my microphone? Is that what you're saying, Pente? I don't think so. I don't know. Hopefully there's no echo. Fixed. Okay, cool. All right, sounds good, guys. All right, so usually trying to make this 15 minutes, but it usually goes a little bit over. So hopefully we can end up making this a little shorter. I have a lot of videos to put out. 900 support and resistance, all good, no echo. All right, cool. I'm gonna put you guys on my other screen. Market really pushing up pretty nicely today. Tesla, as you can see, is already up 4.5%. Looking at the S&P 500, as of right now, we're up 1.34%. Looking at this daily chart, still trying to hold the 200-day SMA. So these are the points that we were talking about here. We were talking about this 200-day SMA support at 444. We're also talking about this 435 support, which is point of control, and then the big support down at 420. So a lot of volatility in the past couple of days, which is very good for day traders. But as you guys know, I say to a lot of people, it's very important for you guys to wait for confirmation on a lot of things. That's why for me specifically, like, I'm waiting on confirmation for a lot of things, specifically reversals, like we are potentially seeing here with the S&P 500. But we had a break below the 200. We're right back above it. And if you're a bull, you really want to see the S&P 500 close up above 444 today and holding on to the rest of the week. You really want to see it hold over that. If we snap 444, you want to see it hold over 434. And if we snap that, we need to see it hold over 420. All day, good morning, my friend. So far, S&P 500 still holding here. Not looking too bad. Triple Qs as well. Not looking too bad. Back up here. Triple Q is more what I'm worried about. A lot of resistance up here at 354. And then IWM holding here at 203. May see a run up to 210, but I think it's going to be pretty hard to get over 210. As far as Tesla, is anybody here in a position on Tesla? I feel like most people are, because this is mainly a Tesla video. Tesla's still looking solid here. Looking very good. I still have my shares. It's nothing huge, but I still have my shares. I think I'm maybe flat or up at the most, like maybe $100. Let me take a look at my position. I'm up $106. Yes. All right, cool. So yeah, for me, I'm still in my position. If we go to the daily chart, I talk about this a lot, but you guys notice didn't close below support. This white line with like the green on either side, this is an alert I have set for if we snap support. We have not snapped support. We ended up bouncing very well. One thing you'll notice now is the RSI is pointing straight up, and you can notice the MACD histogram has crossed to the upside, which is very nice. Looking at the 1 hour as well, you can see that on the 1 hour, where did we bounce to perfection, right? The support we talked about before, 859. So 859, we bounced off of this support. We still have a janky inverted head and shoulders. What do we need to see to confirm a breakout up to $1,000? Gold star for anybody who says it. What do we need to see in order for a breakout up to like at least 950 now? It was 1,000, but the 200 SMA has run down. What do we need to see this push up to maybe 960, $1,000? We need volume. Exactly. We need volume, and we also need to hold over 916. What is this red line here on this 1 hour chart? What is this red line coming out of the volume profile? What is that called? Gold star. We've talked about it last week. If you were here, or if you've been trading for a bit and you know what a volume profile is. What is this red line called? POC, yeah, and it is the neckline, point of control. So the point of control is the neckline. We need to hold over the neckline, and we need to hold over the point of control. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is the high of day for Tesla, to be quite honest. Ultimately can definitely still break over this, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is high of day for Tesla. We're already up 4.5%. I'm not saying go ahead and short the stock or get puts on it or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is high of days. You can also see a 1 minute divergence. So the RSI made a a lower high here. So we could see some weakness and maybe see a drop on Tesla down to 910, maybe 905. But as of right now, how is POC defined? So point of control is the highest amount of volume within the time frame that we're looking at. So we're looking at a 1 hour time frame. So point of control just means at 9:16 is the highest amount of volume that we have seen within that time frame. That's what point of control is. So we'll see what ends up happening. If we reject here and pull back down, we want to see it hold like 900 range, but we'll see. As of right now, that's a resistance to look at. What price are you looking to sell at? Very good question, RSRS. I don't know. Honestly, my goal was to sell at 1,000, but I might just hold these. And I might look to sell at like 11 or 1,200 if we can hit that. So there's some things happening here that we should probably actually talk about real quick. So we have never broken this trend line since we broke above it. Basically, if we're looking at the daily, it'll be a little bit easier. But if you look at this 200 SMA and this trend line, we have not broken below it since we broke above it in 2019. So in 2019 is when we broke above the 200 SMA. We've been using this as a major support for 4 years now, 3 or 4 years now, and we haven't broken below it. We look at this gigantic bull flag that we have right here, which is still intact, right? So we still have a massive bull flag. It's looking like if you have some time on your hands right now, that potentially within April, maybe April, we could see a push up to 1,100, maybe 1,200. There's still a lot of room for a potential bull flag here. Looking at the seasonality chart, if we look at Tesla for the past 10 years, you'll notice that February and March are really bad months for Tesla. Not necessarily that they go down significantly, but that they're normally not profitable. So you can see here, January, normally the stock closes 64% of the time up. You see February, it only closes up 45% of the time with an average loss of 0.13%. So basically sits flat in February. You can see in March, it tends to go down 4%, an average return of minus 4%, and it normally goes up 40% of the time. So 60% of the time, Tesla is down. But look at April. April, 70% of the time, we close bullish, and it goes up an average of 8%. So looking at the time frame for that bigger bull flag move, that really is like end of March, potentially April, and that's also April where we have earnings again. So I'm really torn. Like the position I have is not a big position whatsoever. It's $10,000, which it might be a big position to other people, but relative to my portfolio, it's not a huge percentage, right? It's I've got about like 200K right now, so it's 1/20th of my portfolio. So please remember that, like if I'm trading with this and I'm like, oh, we'll see what happens, like it's 1/20th of my portfolio. I didn't sell cash secured puts and I'm holding like 100 grand of Tesla. That would be different. For me, I think I may just hold it. And if we snap like 800, I'll just cut my losses, because if I set the trade up this way, right? I got in at like 906. If I set a take profit at 1100 and I set a stop loss at 800, I have about an return versus risk of 2, which I'm looking at potential 11% loss for a potential 23% loss. So we'll see what happens. If we can get a quick move to 1100, I might just take profits and sell some cash secured puts or something like that. But 1,000 is where I'm really looking at. Will you look to sell and buy back real quick later in March due to the Fed rates hike? So it is this is a good question. It is very rare that I sell everything. I actually normally never sell everything. Like there's never a time where I don't have a bullish position most of the time. However, there are times where I put a hedge in, and I want to make a video on teaching you guys hedges. But it's very rare that I close everything out. Like I have a lot of positions open at all times. And I tell my mentorship students, like, I'm not a trader, I'm a portfolio manager. And when you make that mental shift from a trader to a portfolio manager, it's different. Like I think right now I probably have about 35 positions in play. Yeah, I have about 30 positions in play. So what I'll do is stick a hedge in. How was March 2020 for you? It was pretty bad. March 2020, I was probably down like 30% on my portfolio, but I got some ridiculous position. So here's the thing. March 2020, I would have been way worse, but actually, I was probably only down like 22%. March 2020 would have been way worse, but me and my buddy Oz, who's an advanced trader in our mentorship group, we were buying like $20,000 worth of Moderna at 11 bucks. So Moderna, as you guys probably know, was not the company that it is today. No one really knew about them. But in like 2020, actually 2019, Moderna was potentially being sued for lying on one of their clinical trials, and the stock got the crap beaten out of it, and it was down around like I think $11 when we were purchasing it. It's very hard to see it here because of the way that the chart's set up. Let me see if I can zoom in. It was trading around $11, and I was buying it at like 11, 12, and I put about 20 grand in it in total with an average of 22 bucks. Now, I made a lot of money off of Moderna, but I also sold Moderna at like 100. So I probably could have ended up making at least another, at least another like 100 grand maybe if I would have held all the way up until 350, 360, 370, maybe even the 440s, but I didn't. So March wasn't that bad. But what happened was during March of 2020, I got some really, really good long-term positions. Like I think Boeing at like 120. I had an average price on Uber. I had about 40 grand in Uber, not 20 grand in Uber, and I had an average price of like $16, which really helped. But most of the time I don't close out a position entirely. What I'll do is place a hedge. Whether that's selling a covered call on a long position I have, or whether that is putting in some put credit spreads, buying straight up puts on the market. It really depends. But I don't think in the past 6 years I've never had a bullish position in play. Most of the time that never really happens for me. And that's just because the market goes up 95% of the time. So the 5% of the time that you get caught with your pants down, if you place a hedge in, it's really not going to be that bad. But yeah, looking at Tesla, I think with the position that I currently have right now, I might just hold because it's not like a massive position or anything. Let's take a look at the flow so far for Tesla. Nothing crazy, $11 million most active calls. Bullish flow, Tesla is not really anywhere to be seen today. If we look at the heat maps, you can see right now that we have a lot of calls coming through, but nothing nuts, like some 925, some 945s. The only unusual flow I've really seen this morning were those day trades that came through, those 218, 950s at 941, but not really anything crazy. So we'll see what happens. See if we all held this entire time, we would have made more money. Probably, Trevor. I mean, honestly, I can do a whole video on trading versus long-term investing, but most of the time, like, you're just going to do a killing just investing long-term. And I don't ever, because I run a channel teaching, I wish it wasn't even called Traders Helping Traders. I wish it was like Portfolio Managers Helping Portfolio Managers, but like, that's not a catchy title. But most of the time, if you just long-term hold, you'll outperform a trader most of the time, right? But for a lot of people, 95% of traders fail. Like, we talk about that a lot. I'm not sure if you realize Moderna did a stock split. I'm so sorry. I sold and didn't hold it. Yeah, but it's part of life. Like, you're never going to sell at the right time, right? A lot of people, I did the math, and I'd have somewhere around $10 million right now if I ended up holding on to all of my long-term positions. Like, I had like $30,000 in Tesla at like 199. I had those Moderna at 11. I had 30 grand in Neo when it was like $1.92 or $1.98. A lot of shit. IIPR when I think it was at like 87. But the thing is, like, you're never going to sell at the best time, right? And when I look at long-term investing, I look at it as, if I wouldn't buy it at that price, why am I holding it? Right? If I wouldn't buy Tesla at 920, why am I holding it? If I wouldn't buy, Amazon at 3,000, like, why am I holding it? That's normally how I look at it. But I don't ever get worried about, like, didn't sell. Trading is not investing. It's completely true. Are you going to get into Sava or do any videos on them? Yeah, so I actually have a position in Sava right now. Actually, I closed it out last week. I'm sorry. I sold about $50,000 worth of cash secured puts on Cassava. But I don't have anything now in Cassava. I may actually sell some cash secured puts today or tomorrow. The only time I touch Sava is selling cash secured puts because the implied volatility is so high that the person who buys the options just gets killed like instantly, and I get to make money off of it. So that's probably normally how I play it. Trading has better cash flows. Yeah, trading. I mean, so there are upsides and downsides to trading and investing. Not every investment is a home run, right? There are a lot of investments that go to fucking zero or that just never do anything. Like imagine if you were buying Smile Direct Club at like $14 long term, like you would have lost 80% of your money. Look at Wish. You would have lost like 90% of your money. Look at SPCE, right? You would have lost a lot. There's timing across everything. Like even look at something like Neo. If you bought Neo up at like 60, like you're down a lot. So I think there's really like things to both of them. You know what I mean? I like trading because it's very robotic. And you can compound a lot. I think that if you're somebody who wants to look into long-term wealth generation, I think that learning to sell cash secured puts is like your best friend. You can really, really, really consistently make like 52% return per year. Just many people don't do it because it's not cool. You know what I mean? Bought 2,000 shares of AMD at 81 cents, sold at $1.81, and felt like a genius. My biggest mistake. I feel you, man. I was buying AMD pretty heavy. I think it was like 2016 or 2017 at like $3.50 a share. That's another one that I would have made a shitload of money. Why don't you mention any stocks? Any stocks money on? Any stocks money on? I don't know what that means, Jay. Yeah. Trading or investing, you ain't no genius. Jay, ain't a word, and I'm definitely not a genius. No, not at all. I just use probabilities. Anybody can do it. Can you do a video offering insight on how to differentiate between the stocks you hold long term and stocks you trade? I don't really hold many things long term. It really depends. Like, there's only 2 stocks I hold right now long term, and that is PayPal and Facebook. That's it. For me to tie up capital, I feel that in order for me to tie up the money, I need to put it in something safe, and I need to put it in something that I think is extremely undervalued. One of the things that Warren Buffett, like, granted his trading is, you know, usually going to be what people think is like the blue collar, or not the blue collar, but like the gold standard of what trading or what investing is. I usually look for a company that's at least 50% under fair value. That's normally for me what I look for, and there's not many companies right now that are 50% below fair value. Let's see. Why don't you mention stocks? Oh, why don't I mention stocks I lost money on? Bro, I always do. Yeah, I've lost a fucking good amount of money on like stocks. Right now I'm in a firm. I'm down like 14 grand on a firm right now. I'm still holding it, but I'm still down 14 grand on a firm. As far as my trading log is considered, I lost pretty big on, I lost $750 on Cassava last week day trading. I lost $600 on Tesla last week day trading. I lost $1,300 on Facebook earnings. I lost $400 on Snapchat. I lose a lot, like a decent amount of the time. It's just most of the time, a lot of the time, my wins are really good. So, Jay, I guess you just don't pay attention, or you've never been here before. So go to the Discord and check out my returns. Let me see. What would you buy right now if you started long trading as of right now? Long trading? Okay, hold on. Let's start. I gotta go back up. What percentage of your trading is comprised of selling cash secured puts? It really depends on market strength. So RC, that's a very good question. If I did not have my Discord and if I did not have this YouTube, it would be everything. I would just sell cash secured puts. That's all I would do. Like I would, in a perfect world, it would be 100% of all of my money would just be put into cash secured puts. My goal when I started trading was $2 million, sell cash secured puts, live off of $800 to $1 million per year and pay the government like half of that. That was my goal. Right now, it's really only like 20-30%. So in January, 80% was my cash secured puts. Right now, it's about 20% because there's a lot of good bullish positions I have open right now. Hi Peter, what would you say now if you just started trading as of right now? What would I buy? If you just started trading, Michael, I honestly would like, Michael, are you talking about long-term investing or trading? That's the thing. If you're talking about trading, what would I buy right now? If you're trading, I really wouldn't buy anything. If you've been trading for like less than 6 months, if you've been trading for less than 2 years, your goal is to stay alive. Like that's your goal, stay alive. I would literally just take free courses, take a ton of content that you can, and I would just paper trade for like your first 6 months. You have to get confidence in the markets. That's the most important thing. He does, dude. He discloses his trades and lists. Yeah, I don't win all the time, guys. When you look at most, it's like, this is a really good example here. Even looking at like Blink. So this is a position. I was looking at some historical data on Blink recently. And I was showing the team today that if you would have bought every single time this one thing happened, over the past 4 years, you would have made an 852% return. And the asset would have gone up 625%. So you would have beaten the asset on Blink. But what do you notice about the wins and losses? You would have won 8 times and you would have lost 12 times. Right? So you would have actually lost 60% of the time, but you would have made an 852% return. You don't have to win a lot. You just need to cut your losses and hit out fucking banging home runs. That's the goal of trading. Like, that's it. Like, you can lose 80% of the time if risk management is appropriate. You know what I mean? You have any real estate properties? No, the 2 places I had, Sniper, I recently sold. The first one I made about $140,000 profit within 2 years. And then the second property that I have right now, I bought a house for myself. And that place right now, like I should probably make a video on it. I put 3% down. I did minimal work and I just got it appraised because the market is stupid for an extra 130 grand than what I paid for it. And now I own 27% of the property and I put down like 7 grand. That's it. Which is really nice. So I made like $100 and something thousand in equity in like 7 months. And there's a loophole to where you can get your PMI taken off within like under the 2-year normal rule that it is. But I'll have to explain that in another video. How was your year-on-year returns? On average, I shoot for about 52%. Last year was about 59%. This year, if you're looking at like January of 2020, I'm already up like 21%. But I don't expect that. I look for about a 1% return per week. I'm not looking to make 300. And the more money you have, the harder that return becomes. I always tell people like, and this is like God honest truth, I don't give a fuck how much money you made last year or this month. Don't show me your P&L for the day. Don't show me your P&L for the month. Show me your P&L for the past 5 years. And when you show me a P&L, I want your profit and loss to look like the S&P 500, right? I want it to be consistently going up with some dips. Consistent. I don't want to see one day you made 40 grand, the next day you lost 20 grand, then you made 30 grand, and then you lost 60 grand. Like, I don't want to see that. Consistency is the most important thing. I said this in the last stream, but what you have to realize is that building a strategy and deploying that strategy and sticking to that strategy for the next 30 years is what's important. If you're just trying to make quick money now, it's not going to work. But yeah, as far as Sniper, as far as real estate, I don't have anything besides the property I just bought for myself, because there's really no deals out there. Kat, you still have IAA? Yes, I do still have IAA. I think I'm down about 1,200 on it, but I do still have IAA right now. Let me see. Thoughts on NVIDIA and their earnings. I was just talking to a mentee today. I would not touch NVIDIA on their earnings, not because I don't think it's a bad setup. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, sorry. Don't have high enough conviction to either side to take a trade. So personally, I wouldn't touch it. Ace, I was a paid member a while back and would like to join again, but you have blocked me. How can I join? Which one was it on? Is it on the mentor group? So we have a bot that ends up kicking people who are inactive. But Ace, if you go to the Discord, which the link is in the description, you can join through the Discord if you go to the upgrade section. That's me, staying alive. Dude, staying alive is the most important thing. Like, I was talking to my mentorship group today, like, not only in the market, but in business. We're gonna have to cut this soon because I'm gonna start fucking going sideways like I always do. But not only in the market, but in business and in all aspects of life, longevity wins. I am only here in my life because I have outlasted everybody. Do you know how many people I have watched started trading and have just fucking blown their accounts up and never do it again? A lot. But it's because I'm still here that I'm able to do this, right? I've lived long enough to realize how to do it correctly. What are your thoughts on the Tesla gap today? All right. It could fill. We may try to fill it on the 1 hour. There's no more other gaps up to the top. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. If we can push right up over 920 and we can maybe get a run up to 980 and then fill the gap at some other point. Let's see. Sounds like a zombie. Agree staying alive is important. I lost 3K on Tesla in 2 days. Feels bad, man. Take a step back. Trade with like a quarter of the amount of money that you're trading with, Colin. That's usually one of the biggest things that changes people's trading strategy. Trade with like a quarter. Trade with a tenth and then move your way up. One day it can be up 17 grand. Next day it can be down 20 grand. I would be careful with that. But yeah, you don't want to have that much volatility. How do you feel about vertical spreads? I love them. I really do. They're great. I love butterflies. If you think something's just going to sit sideways, strangles are good. I can do videos on all of those. It's just normally when I do a trading strategy video, most people, it just doesn't get views. Most people aren't interested, unfortunately. So that's why I have most of them in like free courses and paid courses. I had confidence though, because I was up 40K Tesla back in June, but now from my 40K is down 20K. I would say, Colin, unless you're trading with like 500 grand or something, I would say you need to probably cut your position of your trades in half, maybe even down to 25%. Personally, what do you think of Lucid stock long term or from a trading perspective? Trading perspective, we're at a pretty good support. Honestly, it's looking pretty good. We're holding at 26. Do you do one-on-one lessons? So I really don't. If you really are interested, Colin, shoot me a DM on Discord. I really don't. I used to, but I really don't, simply because I just don't have time. You know, if I did 8 one-on-ones a day, that's 8 hours that I can't spend to help, you know, do YouTube and all that other stuff. So that's normally why I don't, but if you really need help, like we can figure something out. And the other thing too is, not to sound egotistical, but like it costs a lot. So it's like $250 an hour. And I tell a lot of people, like, if you really want to book a one-on-one with me, please let me know what you want to talk about first, because there's probably free videos I have out there that will help you. You know what I mean? To save you money. Because I don't want someone to pay that money and then be like, how do I use an RSI? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, whatever. Like, that's cool. Like, I'll chill with you and talk about an RSI for an hour. But there's probably like a free video. You know what I mean? Or a course or something like that. Thoughts on PayX? Let's go through these pretty quick. Holding the 200, hasn't really broken below it. Best entry is down at 115 personally. What percent do you cut a put credit spread on SPY? So it really depends. Put credit spreads are different. Normally when I take a trade, I don't have a specific percentage I cut the loss on, even though if you are a beginner, you should. Most of the time, I just cut a loss when the pattern fails, right? When we have a complete break of pattern, that's normally when I cut a loss. But put credit spreads, most of the time, I just ride them out until nothing. Because when I look at the max loss on a put credit spread, I don't let it be more than 5% of my portfolio. Realistically, 2% of your portfolio is probably best. Where do you see Qualcomm? Where do you see take profits and losses? Take a look at QCOM real quick. This is the position I'm in. Profit, I'm looking to take probably around 186, 190. Safe profits up at 182 because there's a big resistance. Cutting a loss can be down at 159. Price action for Tesla today, it's pretty good, but I think we've hit a high. Like I said, we're not really able to get through 920 right now. It's having a huge trouble getting through that, so I don't think we're going to push through 920 today, honestly. Shop ahead of earnings. I haven't looked at Shop in a while. I wouldn't play it, honestly. It's like going to be a huge 50-50. We do have a major support here on Shopify down at 849, but if it snaps, there is like no volume. Like this thing will die to $500 in a couple of weeks. Let me see. What do you think of Tesla back to 1,000? I think it's possible. We just need to hold over that point of control in the 1 hour first. I was $20 a month. Now everything I tried to join does not show anything for me. What is your email so I can talk to you later to fix this? Here, so this is my email. I think it's in the Discord, but that's my business email. So yeah, that's the goal. But yeah, shoot me a message, Sam. You shouldn't be blocked for the 20 a month. I think it just removed you probably from the role if you ended up canceling and whatnot. I can't get into the Discord. All right, we'll figure that out. Mana, holy cow, you're like the only one that hits every one of our comments. Thanks for working so hard. Thank you, man. I mean, that's the goal. Unfortunately, I don't know if it'll forever be that way as we grow. Like, I remember when I would look at content creators, like, as a viewer, I would look at a content creator and I'd be like, bro, you really can't respond to my comment. Like, you really can't respond to my DM. Like, you really can't look at all of our messages. It's just like at a point, it really will, as somebody who was a viewer and now is a content creator, like it gets fucking overwhelming. It gets hella overwhelming. I don't have Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or anything anymore because of that, right? Like every day I hop on Discord, I have a couple hundred messages, a couple hundred pings, emails out the ass. I get like 60 or 70 emails a day just from like potential partnerships that most of them are scams. That company Moo emails me 2 or 3 times a fucking day. Do you ever use a VWAP? Yeah, I use VWAPs for all of my trading, Jay. I use a VWAP for all my day trades. Do you think about Upstart ahead of earnings? This will be the last one, and then we'll hop off for a little over that 15 minutes, but whatever. Upstart's another one I really probably wouldn't touch. Long term, I really like it, but we did break this major trend line. Earnings could be good, but I really wouldn't touch it. That's too bad. I like your book recs on Insta. Thank you, Jupe. I might try to start posting a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see. It just becomes a lot. It really does. Like, not even like posting, but like the mental clarity is a huge thing for me. But yeah, guys, hopefully Uber's doing pretty good today too. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We went over for sure. If you guys are ever interested in like breakdowns of stocks other than Tesla, or recaps of some of the free trades I put in the Discord, you can go to our other channel on YouTube. It's just called DeCarlo Capital. I got rid of the channel that was just me. But if you go to DeCarlo Capital on on YouTube, this is going to be all of the trades that I'm like taking or trades I'm watching or anything other than Tesla. We'll see what ends up happening. Normally I just keep Tesla videos on here because that's what the algorithm wants. That's what you guys want. So I'm not gonna, not put a video there. But dude, I can't believe we're at so many subscribers. Like 50,000 is kind of crazy. Even 260 people watching this. It's pretty nuts when you think to yourself that if we were sitting in a room at a college or something, like it could probably fill an auditorium. Are the Fed hikes already priced in? I think 3 of them are. I don't think a 4th is. Put on Tesla this week. I wouldn't get a put, honestly. I really don't ever go against most stuff. 2025 stock price estimate on Tesla. That is a good question. 2025 is tough. So 3 years. Let's say like $2 grand. maybe 22. I don't know. Looking at the next 5 to 7 years for Tesla is one of those things like I'd have to do a whole stream or a whole video on. But there's this thing in the EV market where is Tesla's quality going to reach the quality of these other car makers? Because basically Tesla has the tech, it doesn't have the quality, in my personal opinion. I've been in many Teslas. They're nice, but the quality is, iffy. But these other companies have the quality, but they don't have the tech. And the biggest thing is what is going to happen first? Who is going to win the race? Is Tesla going to be able to get a higher quality product without charging a shitload more money? Or are these companies going to be able to actually use their tech? I was actually thinking the other day, which obviously it would be stupid now, but like, can you imagine if Tesla just used, like, licensed out all of their like IP for these companies to use? Like, I was thinking with Peloton yesterday, like, why doesn't Peloton just become a software company and stop making bikes and stop making treadmills and stop making all this other shit and just go ahead and license out all of that technology to all these other treadmill companies and shit? Like, that'd be the smarter move. But we'll do a video on that, maybe like a 5-year or 10-year stock prediction or something like that. Had my Model Y for a month. Tesla service is coming out today to fix my door. Seems to have a loose bolt. Yeah, the door seems to be a really bad thing. On all 4 Teslas I've ever been in, it's like every door sounds like a trash can crumbling. Like, and that's not even me being a dick. Like, I want a Tesla. It's just like, the first Model 3 I got in was my buddy's, and I opened the door, and every single time I opened, it's like, there's also this weird thing on the Model 3s where, like, it leaves these handprints. It's really weird. Like, if you touch the door, there's like your cell phone, there's like a handprint on it, which is really, really weird. But yeah, I mean, overall, they're really cool cars. We'll see what happens. Hoping Berlin will change that due to poaching engineers from BMW and Mercedes. I still love it, though. Not feel you, dude. And I feel like that's just part of owning a Tesla. You know what I mean? Like, it's just part of owning it. I still want a Cybertruck, and I still plan to buy one. Your explanation of support side view, explaining that as a floor, wood/glass was a game changer. Thank you. Hell yeah, Andy. Sounds great, man. Yeah, that's like one of the best ways to think of supports and resistances. Yeah, I hope this helped, guys. Let me know if you need anything. And enjoy your day. Peace.